Goose, you're a Hall of Fame closer. You could be home playing golf right now, but you're here in Tampa, up early every morning, working with the Yankee players. What brings you back each spring?
Well, when I got out of the game, Mr. Steinbrenner invited me back down to be around the camp, and it's great to be around the game. But when the season starts, I get to go home, and I'm really enjoying my summers back in Colorado that I didn't get to enjoy for so many years. But it's great to be around the game. It's great to be around these young kids, and passing the torch a little bit about how to be a professional, the mindset of closer wasn't even a coined phrase when I was we were relief pitchers, and we came into games, we did it. Now it takes three guys to kind of do what we used to do, but I saw that total evolution, Jack, from what the bullpen used to be when I broke in. It was an old junk pile where old starters went that couldn't start anymore, and then it started to evolve into what it has really evolved in today, the more specialized game that it is. And now you're seeing the setup guys really play a huge role in the success of your team getting to that closer.
So you're watching these guys all spring. You're watching with the eye of a guy who had 310 career saves. Has there been anyone or anything that has jumped out at you this spring that has made you say, wow, that's going to be very important for the Yankees in 2014?
Well, I think the biggest thing is David Robertson stepping into that closer role, especially trying to fill the shoes of a guy like Mariano Rivera. What a great career he had, and there's some pressure that goes with that, and it's how you handle that pressure. And my advice to him would be just to be himself, and I even said to him, the setup guys have a tougher role than the closer does, because they come in with more inherited runners into tougher situations, and usually that closer gets to start out that ninth with nobody on, and outside of the fact, and it's a big fact, that the finality of it, of those last final three outs, are the toughest outs of a ball game to get. But I enjoyed I was a workhorse, man. I loved logging all the innings that I logged were very, very tough innings, usually coming into jams, getting out of that, and then usually having to pitch the eighth and the ninth innings a lot of times. So, that role of the relief pitcher, I love talking to the kids about the mental aspect of the game, which is so huge. These kids all have the ability to be successful at the major league level. It's just, I tell these kids, we are what we think. We think good things and good things happen. We think bad things and bad things happen. It's as simple as that. So I love to talk about the mental aspect of the game and the mental approach, and putting yourself in the right mental frame of mind. And it's so huge, and it's something that I tell these kids, even after 20 years in the big leagues, I battled confidence, because it's a day-to-day thing, and it's a very fragile thing, and you would think that after 20 years in the big leagues you would have that confidence, but it's something that is day-to-day, outing to outing, and so it's something that these kids really have to, I think, hearing it, that it comes from, you think that it becomes automatic. And nothing in this game is automatic. It's a process of getting your mind right, and staying in that right frame of mind.
In watching Rivera over the years, that was one thing that I thought he was so good at, was being able to bounce back. Robertson has to prove that he can bounce back after a tough blown save. You can give him some words, but what does he have to do in his own mind to say to himself, I've got a game tomorrow too, I can't worry about this blown save?
Well, it is, absolutely, and that's part of the process. Mariano was no different than all the great relievers. That one inning role today is about as easy as it gets compared to what, the way it has evolved. And I'm not taking anything away from the position, but we were our own setup guys and our closers, so it was a much tougher, much more difficult time. I think that everybody says, hey Goose, how are you such a great relief pitcher? I said I couldn't remember what happened last night, which is a beautiful thing. A short memory is a beautiful thing, especially we think about the disaster that happened last night, going into the same situation that we came in last night, disaster last night, if we're thinking about that same disaster last night that happened, about what we're doing tonight, we're going to have another disaster. And it really is that simple. And what we think, that's what going back to what I just mentioned before, is we think good things and good things happen, and we have to put ourselves in that frame of mind. And a short memory is a beautiful thing, Jack.
How much did intimidation help you on the mound?
You know, nothing was premeditated the way I was out there. When I went between the lines, you know, I said to my mom, I said, I'd drill you, Mom, if you were up there. And believe me, I loved my mother dearly. And, you know, she said, you wouldn't really hit me, would you? I said, Mom, when I'm out there on that mound, I'm a different guy. And I said, yeah, I probably would. But, you know, that's the way you have to be. You know, you either eat or you get eaten. And I wasn't going to get eaten. And, you know, Mr. Steinbrenner, God bless him, he was the greatest owner that I ever had the privilege of playing for. I played for some great owners, but, you know, no one was as demanding as George was. And I always said, if you weren't as demanding of yourself as George was going to be, it wasn't going to work out here. And no one liked to win, or no one wanted to win more than George. And I think, you know, I've always said that had anyone else bought the Yankees, I don't know if they would have kept the Yankees the way George kept the Yankees. And he understood what they stood for, and you know, he followed through on that. He was a disciplinarian. You know, intimidation was not something I really thought about. That was just the way I was out there on the mound. You know, you can be the nicest guy off the field, but man, when you go between those lines, you know, I hated hitters. You know, I wanted to stick that ball, you know, where the sun didn't shine, you know, and you know, that's the way it had to be. And like I said, you either eat or you get eaten. It's like the law of the jungle, you know, and it's no different out here. And, you know, I try to talk to these kids about getting in that right frame of mind, that you can be the nice, it's not the nicest, you don't have to be a nice guy out there. And you got a license to, you know, do some damage out there. And you know, and I was never a headhunter, but I kept hitters, you know, I pitched inside and balls got away, and I hit 3 guys intentionally, you know, through the course of my career. And that's not saying, you know, that's only 3 guys in 22 years. And
do you remember which 3?
Yeah, absolutely. I remember Al Bumbry for the Baltimore Orioles, their leadoff guy. Ron Gant for the Atlanta Braves. 2 of them deserved it, 1 did not, and the other one that didn't deserve it was Andres Galarraga. And I just talked to him the other day, and I wasn't going to take any chances. It was a situation in we came into Montreal when Andres was up there, and he was setting the league on its ear, and we had a meeting with John Zimmer, was our manager with the Cubs, and we're going over the hitters, and we get to Andres, and Zimmer goes, wait, he goes, stop. He goes, I got one thing to say, this guy is not going to beat us. Fast forward into the game that night, it's the 8th inning. I come into the game, and I'm thinking I got first base open, and Andres is up, and there's runners on second and third, and I go back to this meeting, do not let this guy beat us. So rather than take any chances, I got about right here in my windup, just starting forward with my arm. I said, to hell with it. I plunked him in the rib cage. You know, he didn't deserve that. But I wasn't going to take any chances. So I talked to Andres just the other day. We played in a golf event. He said, man, he said, he hit me here, it hurt over here, like this. And we had a laugh about it. But, you know, intimidation is a part. You know, I was taught at an early age, you make that hitter as uncomfortable as you can if you're going to make a living up here. And that's really changed now. Now hitters are protected, and you know, I see the game really changing. It's, you know, the collisions at home plate. I don't know what they're going to do with that. You know, these kids don't even know how to block home plate, and you know, so we'll have to wait and see. But you know, being down here, part of spring training with these guys and with the Yankees, you know, to go into the Hall of Fame wearing a Yankee cap. I didn't get to pick the cap. I played for 9 different teams, loved every moment of every team. My family grew up Yankee fans, and you know, I grew up a Yankee fan, and then getting to play for them and winning a world championship in '78, being a part of that was an unbelievable. I still have to pinch myself that I had the kind of career, and then to top it all off, to go into the Hall of Fame wearing a Yankee cap is something that I will never come to grips with.
I'm going to try and take you back for a moment to part of your career. We got a couple of baseball packs here. 1989, you were still playing. We're both going to open up a pack, and we're going to see who's got the best card. We're going to argue, a little debate here, so you might get a Hall of Famer in there. If there's gum in here, Goose, I don't think we should eat it. Oh boy, it's chipped gum.
Yeah,
I don't think we should eat it.
Perfect, I'll eat it.
I'm off to a good
Somebody
start.
said, Jack, the other day, hey, Goose, I have an old baseball card of yours. I said, oh, really? I said, they're all old.
Hey, this guy was a good player. Dave Parker, I'm off to a good start.
Oh, my God. One of the greatest players I ever played with.
Joe Carter, World Series hero.
Yep.
I got a Hall of Famer, Robin Yount.
Oh, yeah. Great.
I'm off to a good start here.
Good.
I think I got the
Go
lead.
through yours, and then we'll go
Sil
through mine.
Camposano, Bobby Figpen, a fellow closer
Yeah,
like yourself,
right,
had that
sure.
58 save year.
I was not a closer.
Kipper, Lloyd McClendon is a
Yes,
manager now.
Yeah,
John Morris,
sure.
there's an old Yankee. Rich Dotson.
Yeah, sure.
Kurt Young, now a pitching coach. Jose Rijo was supposed to be a great Yankee.
Right.
So I would say my best one, because he's a Hall of Famer, is probably Robin Yount.
That Dave Parker's.
And Dave Parker's right on the.
That's a Hall of Famer to me.
Yeah, he doesn't get the support.
One of the greatest players I ever saw play. If he played today, he would set this league on its ear, man. This guy was unbelievable. I've got Greg Olson, another closer.
Yep.
Dave Otto, Mickey Brantley, Frank Viola.
Great
man.
changeup. Great changeup.
He used to kill us. That's a Yankee killer right
Yes.
there. Guys used to scream at him, throw the ball harder. Oswald Perez, Jim Presley, Lance Johnson, Rafael Santana, great outfielder, Dwight Evans, Dewey Evans. Wow, with the Red Sox, man, what a great hitter.
Yep.
And a great player. Fred Manrique and Jim Leland, a great coach, great friend. Dave Stieb, a great pitcher for Toronto for many years. Howard Johnson, a big power guy. Randy Reddy, oh, good buddy of mine, ex-teammate, and Greg Briley. Let's see, yeah. So
I win. Give me my cards back. I win. Wouldn't it have been great if I could have staged this and we had a Goose Gossage in here?
Well, I mean, you know, hey, it'd been an old card.
I bought the packs online. We had to live with what we had.
That's
Goose,
great.
thanks for the time.
Hey, Jack, my pleasure, buddy.
All right.